Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Monday, September the 2nd. Happy Labor Day to all of you here in the United States. I know a couple of people who watch outside of the United States, and we say, well, we call it Labor Day over here in the United States. It's always the first Monday of September when we remember Labor Day. Well, let's talk a little bit about Labor Day. It's usually the beginning of the presidential campaign or the election campaign, really. And obviously, this year we have a very contested presidential election, depending on what you want to believe. The polling data, much of what we see coming across our screen every day and our feed every day, shows a very contested election at the moment. It's if you remember a few weeks ago, Donald Trump was ahead over Joe Biden. Then the Democrats changed from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris, and she had a bounce. And then she had a convention, he had a convention, then she had a convention, and here we are, Labor Day, and it's pretty much a dead heat right now. They're both tied, certainly within the margin of error. There are some of these services that predict not so much polling services, but these betting services, I guess what they're called. I guess people bet money. At the moment, Trump is ahead in one of them, 53-46. Nate Silver, who is another one of these numbers people who predicts these things, he's now saying that Trump has like a 60% chance of winning the Electoral College, and and Kamala Harris has better than 50% chance of winning the popular vote, which is what I've been saying for quite some time. I think the possibility that Kamala Harris wins the popular vote and loses the election, and Donald Trump wins the Electoral College. I think I've been saying that's going to be the outcome for quite some months. Now, some people are saying that Donald Trump could win the popular vote. That could happen. But if I had to bet money, I would say he wins the Electoral College, which is how you get elected. And then she gets more votes. And a lot of that has to do with California. Remember, she is from California. So she's going to get probably very heavy turnout out there in California, which is going to inflate those popular vote numbers quite a bit. But that's what they're saying right now. They're saying this is a dead heat. Some polls are showing she's leading. Other polls are saying he's leading. And I think the best thing to do is just not to take anything too seriously right now and wait until that first debate. I think that first debate coming up in 10 days is going to make a big difference. Now, the two candidates have different objectives for that first debate. I think Donald Trump has to basically be very disciplined and talk about the issues. Stay away from all the other name calling, all the nicknames, and all that kind of stuff, and just stick to the issues and tell people, look, I did this before. I was the president. I did it before. Look at the results. Let me do it again. I think that's a winning message for Donald Trump if he sticks to it and avoids all the other stuff. She, on the other hand, I think has to prove that she's presidential, that she can, lead the country through some difficult times, that she can be the lady that you want sitting at the desk when there's an international crisis. That's always a tough, that's a tough bar for someone who has never, been in government, hasn't been in government that long. I mean, Obama had the same problem back in 2008. What saved Obama that year was that banking crisis in the last 30 days. I mean, if you remember back in 2008, in early October, McCain was starting to go ahead because they had a debate or two. And, I think they had a national security debate where McCain obviously came on much stronger than Barack Obama. And I think in early October, you could start seeing the polls shift toward John McCain. Obviously, then came the banking crisis, and that pretty much ended any chance of a Republican president winning, although you never know. Maybe a better candidate than John McCain could have navigated through that crisis. Again, we will never know. I voted for John McCain that year. I thought he was a better choice, but it didn't work out that way. But Obama had the same problem. He had to prove that he was presidential because he didn't have much experience. And Kamala Harris is going to have to do the same. So she's going to have to prove that she can answer questions, that she can talk about deep topics. And we'll see. We'll see. She's going to have to do a better job of explaining her economic program than she's done right now. What she has done right now is very confusing and frankly leaves a lot to be desired. So she has to prove she's presidential, and she has to explain her economic program to a nation who is still trying to get to know who she is. On the other hand, everybody knows who Trump is. I mean, Trump is about as well known a presidential candidate as we've ever had. And his task is to tone it down, bring down the volume, bring down the dramatics, and just focus on those key issues where he is ahead. If you ask people about immigration, the economy, foreign policy, Middle East, the border, they go with Trump. And I think abortion is the only topic where Kamala Harris is ahead. And I don't know how much of an issue abortion is going to be. People tell me it is going to be a big issue. Maybe in some states it could be. But I think most people are going to vote for the big picture, not exclusively for abortion. I just don't see it that way, but I could be wrong. There may be some people who vote only on the basis of abortion. And if they do, they're probably going to vote for Kamala Harris. But I still think those are going to be small numbers. I think most of the candidates are going to vote for the big picture of which one of these two people can be better for the country in terms of the economy, foreign policy, and so on. So again, those are the polls on Labor Day. A totally different picture of all this in a couple of weeks. I really do. I think in a couple of weeks, either Trump is going to be moving ahead, or she may surprise us. She may do a wonderful debate, and then we'll continue to have a contested election the rest of the way. We'll see. We'll see how it goes between now and that next debate at ABC. Actually, that's going to be the first debate that they're going to have over at ABC. Well, just a couple of thoughts. There was some controversy, I guess, a couple of days ago regarding the third anniversary of that terrible accident or incident in Afghanistan with that terrorist attack that killed 13 young Marines. And they had a ceremony at Arlington Cemetery. The families of the dead soldiers invited President Trump to go. They say they invited President Biden and Vice President Harris as well. They say they did. And apparently they did not get the invitation or chose not to attend. But I think too much is being made out of this. To me, what really matters here are the families of the soldiers, of the dead soldiers. They're the ones who are bearing the cost of this. They're the ones who are suffering. They're the ones who've paid the ultimate price, and they're the ones we should be listening to. And if they invited President Trump, that's the way it goes. They invited him, and that's all there needs to be said. And I'm not. I think the Democrats are trying to make too much of this. And I just don't think it's going to fly, because you've got the words of the families saying, hey, we invited him and we wanted him there. And some of the videos that we've seen are videos taken by the families. They're not videos that were taken by the Trump campaign or anything like that. If you were watching the news today, you may have seen President Biden coming back to the White House. And a reporter asked him about the Prime Minister of Israel. Was he doing enough? And he said no in a very negative way. I don't think that was very smart on the part of President Biden, because if you want to get a deal done with Hamas, you don't want to sound as if you're not supporting Israel. You want to be locked in with Israel so that Hamas knows that they have to do a deal. But when you have distance between the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Israel, that's not a smart thing to do. That's not going to get you a deal if that's what you're looking for. I've got a post coming out tomorrow, Tuesday, and I'm linking to the post an article that came out in the New York Post. This is by a lady named Andrea Preyser, Preyser, and she's a very liberal Democrat who's voting for Trump. Very liberal Democrat who has always voted Democrat, and she's voting for Trump this year. And she wrote an article, very good article, about why she's doing it. And I really recommend everybody to read it, because she goes through the reasons she's doing it. She says, look, I am as liberal as they come. I support all these liberal issues, but this year is different. This year we need someone who can do the job. We need someone who can go in there and fix some things. And she's voting for Donald Trump. I think it's a fabulous post or article. And again, it's over at the New York Post. It's in the opinion section today. And the lady's last name is Preyser, Preyser. and I would recommend that you read it and share it with your friends. It's really a good article, especially if you have a liberal friend who's not sure of what to do. You may want to share that article with them. I think it's a very persuasive, very, very persuasive article. Again, happy Labor Day to everybody. We'll get back on the regular run tomorrow when we get back to work and get back to all the things that we do when we don't have these holidays. Everybody have a wonderful day. I hope that you remembered the history of Labor Day. Lots of good people over the years have worked to make this day possible. So we remember all of those today. Bye-bye, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, everybody.